Are you? We have made it to day 22 of inner union. And like I told you yesterday, the divine masculine energies and collective have requested our attention for this final inner union message for this series. Okay. I want to thank each and every one of you who have joined me through this process. Whether you're just finding me or you've been here with me all along or found it in the process, I'm so grateful for your presence here with me. And right as I was going to prepare for this, I kept hearing true love arrives. And what was coming through was that as we work with our own internal union energies, learning to love ourselves deeper and in new ways, what we're doing is we're signaling to the universe and to the energies on the planet that we're able to have a larger capacity to hold the frequencies of love for ourselves, but also in a space where we're capable and ready to also receive true love for ourselves in new ways in the physical world. Okay. So that was what was coming through. I also, really quick before we get into it, want to let you guys know I do have the inner union readings going on. There's been a ton of information that's coming in those 30-minute sessions. For any of you who had them, you can attest they are chocked full of some diamond goodness. All right. So I'm going to drop that in the pinned comment. I still have my 1 hour sessions on special through the end of the month as well. And obviously, moving into the new year, I'm still going to be here with you, but I wanted to let you know that there is still some spaces open for next week if you're interested in connecting with me on those. Okay. So we're going to give Divine Masculine full reign of this reading and the messages from here on out. I'm not sure how that true love arrives message is going to play into it, but as I am saying this out loud, I am feeling from the higher divine masculine collective's higher self essence an energy of adoration and appreciation for the divine feminine collective and all that you have been doing internally and externally. Any of those who've been working on their divine feminine and inner masculine energies across the board, however you identify, is just coming through in an acknowledgement and an appreciation. So I wanted to share that with you. You know, we're just going to start out with, where do we want to go? Okay, actually, even though, so the divine masculine higher essences are here, I said that we were going to go into the higher self, the heart space, and what's actually happening and occurring in the physical world. So we're going to start out with some of those physical world, like what's happening in the day-to-day 3D collective world of the masculine energies. Like you see the cards are kind of like shaky. So there's definitely a lot shifting. What I'm getting is that this internal cup of love, this internal energy of self-love and how the masculines interpret that is opening in a new way. It's coming through that their vision of self-love or their thoughts around what self-love is going to look different than what we typically think of in our feminine version. I'm not sure what that means yet, but we're gonna see what opens up. I feel like, okay, there's something else that wants to come with that to give us more insight. So what is it that the masculines, how do they interpret or experience this idea of self-love? So I get the chariot with that. So what I'm feeling with this, it's like a very quick bursting movement forward. And what's coming through is there's actually a realization that starts to happen that they're worthy of going for and going after and moving towards what it is that they actually want. There's something opening up with this realization that if I don't go for what I want, I'm not ever going to get it. But if I start to move towards it, that's how I'm going to start creating momentum towards it. So something is opening up within that space. And so what it's doing is driving the masculines forward to start to open up and see and notice maybe where they have held themselves back. They may have focused on certain things, thinking that they were moving forward or doing everything they could in the way that they knew. But what is coming through is that this interpretation of self love is this realization of where they've held themselves back from going after what it is that they truly want in their life. There's something opening up in their heart and in their emotions that is kind of reminding them or tapping them on the shoulder and saying, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. You could do something different and actually go for what it is that you want. What's coming through is that although there's been a part of them that thought they deserved it, they're starting to realize that maybe they weren't fully owning that, because what I'm sensing is a pocket of energy where there was a part of them that knew that they deserved it, which was why they would push themselves forward. But this other pocket that is opening is where they actually may have felt some of that victim consciousness mentality around, well, I know I deserve it, but how come it's not happening? Or how come it's not working out the way that it's supposed to, given what I've been told, that if I follow steps A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, then I'm going to get to the life that I want, but it's not happening. Or it's not happening fast enough or in the way that I was told. And why this is happening is because there's this whole other pocket of potential within the masculines that they are being called to open. The way that they used to go about getting things, or the way that we used to have what we wanted on the planet, is expanding significantly. So there's all this space in energy and potential within the masculine collective that has never been opened or tapped into. And the reason things are not panning out the way that you thought they were going to, because of the way you were taught and told, is because you're being called to create something new. You're being called to your next levels and layers, masculines, because it's time for you to fully embody more of your true potential. The masculines are at the helm of opening up their new abilities and their new keys and codes for what the new world is going to look like from the creation building aspects in the physical world. So some of you may be experiencing this internally, regardless of how you identify, but I'm feeling this on a very, very large scale. So as the masculines allow themselves the space to come out of the victim consciousness of feeling left out in the cold, of feeling like that they've been forsaken and forgotten or abandoned, and they start showing up for themselves, realizing that the answers that they're seeking are inside of them, not in the old external world. As they're opening up to this realization that the keys and the information that they're looking for is inside. As I'm saying this to you, I can feel it opening and blossoming. And this is, tell me if this makes sense. If you're a masculine and you're here, please let me know if this makes sense. It's like opening and blossoming their self-love, but like I said, not in that feminine way. It's in more of a, like, you know what? I do deserve that. And you know what? Yeah, I'm frustrated by the limitations that I've been experiencing. I'm sick of feeling out in the cold and not getting what I really want. But boom, the self-love realization is the realization that they have the ability and the power to change it, to make this shift, to allow themselves to move into their full true power and forge forward towards what it is that they really and truly want. Their queen, okay? Their inner creation and feminine essence, but yes, also the external feminine counterpart. This is an internal and external process. I just had a session with a masculine who is very much a masculine. He's married, he has a family, he rides his Harley, all of those things, but he's comfortable with opening and working with his masculine and feminine energies. And in the session, his internal feminine energies ignited in a whole new way that we had never seen before. And it was like she was coming up and expanding from the roots and settling into his physical body. And because he allowed that, because he feels comfortable in who he is as a masculine, it's allowing him to step fully into his true power. So also, as we release these limitations and ideas around our internal masculine and feminine energies, this is also going to allow the masculines, as they accept themselves, all of their power, all of who they are, all of what they want, realizing that the reason that they've been left out in the cold is because they've been denying this part of themselves. It's where they left themselves out in the cold. Now, I'm going to acknowledge that this come from the programming and the conditioning that has been beaten into their head and into their system for generations and centuries, hands down. Okay. But this is also what's opening up. When we picked up that energy in yesterday's message around that kind of volcanic earthquake type of eruption, it is the masculine's internal feminine energies, creations, intuitions, and truth coming into alignment internally so that they can actually come out of this energy of feeling forsaken and abandoned and start showing up for themselves and allowing themselves to be all of who they are, in all of who they are, in their masculine energies, in their physical embodied divine masculine energy, as they balance and harmonize their own internal energies, accepting all of who they are, all of it, all of the essences, all of their intuition, all of their emotion, all of their true abilities coming in from the heart. So as the masculines realize and allow their hearts to turn back on, allowing all of their energies and essences to align back up and come into full power, it's going to start to allow them to manifest in the physical world the things that they've always known deep down was what they deserved in the first place. But this physical world transformation is where the intensity is occurring, because what I'm sensing is, one, it's creating a vulnerability as they're bursting out of the old cocoon and the old limitations, right? There's this initial burst forth because it just can't hold back anymore because they've outgrown the old ways. They're frustrated and stifled and sick of feeling frozen and stuck or limited in what they're doing. And it's pushing them to this point of having to start to shift in the physical world. And when I say that, it's internal. It's because they are so ready to grow. It is like that seed that has been under the ground, and now it's spring and the sun and the nutrients and everything is hitting it. And now it has to birth forth through the ground surface and begin to grow like a wildfire. Like it's just, they're showing me the bamboo, I believe it's bamboo, where the seed is planted and it's under the earth for 5 years. For 5 years, you do not see any growth occurring. And then all of a sudden, in like 5 days, once it sprouts above the surface, it grows 90 feet, something like that. I hope my numbers are right. But the bottom line is like, so did it grow 90 feet in 5 days or 5 years in 5 days? The answer is all of that. Okay. It's been happening internally and it's reaching that pivot point where the masculines just cannot stay in this anymore because it's more uncomfortable than allowing this bursting forth to come through. And that makes sense why that tower energy was coming up in yesterday's message. I'll link yesterday's message and the inner union reading from last week in the pinned comments so that you can check in with both of those. If you're new, you're probably going to want to just go into the whole playlist of the Inner Union series and watch that when you have time. But this is exciting to me because I'm seeing this in the collective. I'm seeing it in the feminines where they've been working with their masculine energies and they're bursting forth into the new. And this is allowing the whole planetary collectives to work together even deeper. And it doesn't matter how you identify, however you are experiencing this, if you're going through a time of expansive growth, just allow it to keep happening. Okay. There is a lot that's transforming with this for all of us. And like I said, the whole planet is going through a death to rebirth process. So if you're here on this planet, it's happening in one way or another, loves, whether people are realizing it or not. So now I'm guided to go into the masculines want to talk about what's happening in the heart space as they're going through this transformation. Wow. Okay, so out of the gate, we got Ace of Pentacles and Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands did come first. And immediately for me, the heart space is directly connected to our telepathic communication and our ability to connect and embody with our higher self. The more we allow our heart to heal and open and grow and expand, and the more we learn natural protections and cushions to allow ourselves to open up the heart space so that it's not open and vulnerable to inappropriate things, but that it's able to open and expand to what is meant for us in the proper and aligned energies, to allow for that internal true love, allow for that internal union, and allowing the external true love energies to come into alignment in bringing more and more of the unity consciousness. So within the heart space, this heart space is being activated with the new codes. And you see, we have the seed here with this Ace of Pentacles, which to me is speaking and running it back right to that bamboo seed I just spoke about. This seed has been growing gently. This is like the new physical world beginning that is being supported and nurtured and, yes, nourished by this internal heart flame through the whole collective as we're working on our heart and our higher self, as we're dropping in those results, allowing ourselves to open through our whole system and allowing that higher energy to ground into the earth. Each time you're doing that, each time you're working through something and allowing more of your true essence to come into your body and to come into the planet, it's literally nourishing and nurturing these seeds that have been planted for the new energy. This is why this internal process where we each focus on ourselves is so incredibly important and powerful, because each thing you work through as you're called, you don't have to go digging, but each thing that you embody or open, or each creation or each new thing you create, you're literally like fertilizing your seeds with your own gorgeous, beautiful, higher self heart creation energy. Okay. So what's coming to me is, if you want to even envision as you're planting your seeds in your garden, in your new earth garden, and then each time you're coming into a state of love, each time you're working through a trigger, each time you're loving yourself more, each time you're showing up in a new way, each time you allow yourself to be in, experience the uncomfortable without judgment, in moving through it in your own timing, you are nourishing and fertilizing your seeds for the new energy. Okay. And the masculines are acknowledging that they are both receiving this from the collective that are working in these energies from the feminines, and they are also reciprocating it in their own way as they're going through their thawing process and allowing themselves to come into alignment in their own ways. Okay. So, what I'm sensing is if you have not felt much reciprocity in the world or in your connection, this is going to start shifting. We are moving into the second half of this collective transformation. Yesterday, in yesterday's reading, it came through that we're about halfway through that transformation. You know, it's like these bigger energies. Of course, do we know the exact timing? No, but if we're looking at it in the big overarching energies, we've reached halftime and now we're moving into part two, which is where these internal and external reciprocities start to occur. But I'm going to say it again: space and grace for everyone, for yourself and all others. We do not know what each person's experience is going to be because they have their own unique codes and keys and gifts to open up. And the masculines are holding a lot of those keys and codes within them. And so it's part of our purpose to extract our own internally with our inner union, but also to hold space that's safe to allow the masculines to discover their own and find their own new footing. Okay. Because moving from this victim out in the cold consciousness to full throttled power of being able to harness all of their energy and actually maneuver it in a controlled, balanced, and tempered way, this is going to be a process. Just like I spoke about a couple of days ago when we're training like a horse and learning to use and wield our own power. If you have like a wild horse that's never worked in the energies, it takes some time and some training for you to learn how to wield the powers of those animals, of your own energy, of your own abilities. Okay. So the masculines are about to, if they haven't yet, they're about to tap into how powerful they actually are, because they thought that it was this only physical world horsepower of working in the material world and knowing that they could work and make money or manifest into physicality. But you add all of this higher energy and emotional power of what they're really capable of in their creative and intuitive energies and couple that with their physical world abilities. Watch out now. Y'all are going to find out. We're about to find out, but we need to give it some space to let this transformation happen. Because all of you know, if you've been on any sort of a transformational journey, it's not so pretty at the beginning. It gets a little messy because you're cleaning out the old stuff. The masculines need space. They need space to allow their own internal heart transformation to happen so that they can get comfortable in their own power and within actually who they are as a human being in their full essence. Because it is something that most of us have never experienced, but this is really even newer for the masculines in general. Okay. Because a lot of the feminines have been working to embody these for a while. But now this is coming into the more physical world manifestation because divine feminine collectives have really solidified into the roots and into the root chakra, igniting and in holding space for masculines to go through their process as they held space for the feminines to go through theirs. I have seen a lot of your comments, and I'm definitely going to talk about the mirrors. That's going to be an upcoming video, that it's not just one type of divine counterpart twin flame mirror. There are many facets to these mirrors. And so we're going to definitely talk about that because I think that's going to be helpful for you. It's been very helpful for me to discover that myself. Okay. There's a lot more happening than we're realizing. Even as I'm speaking to you, even as I've delved into these energies very deeply, I'm aware there's more that I'm not aware of. Okay. But this is what happens when we're allowing ourselves to truly evolve to our next levels. We are learning while we are going. You're doing beautiful, right? Gosh, I just want to let us feel that for a moment, because we haven't even gotten to the divine masculine higher self messages yet. and they are on it. As you can tell, there is a fast moving energy in the field, just by the way I'm speaking and delivering the messages. And if any of you have done that inner union reading with me, you notice that there is a lot of messages in those, and we move very quickly. But it's like those of you that are ready to receive those, it's like boom, very succinct, very strong messages. And you can feel that balance of the inner union of the masculine creating the safe container and the feminine, intuitive, creative energies, and just allowing these new energies to birth within our own inner heart and our own union. All of this new. I am happy to be here with you in this present moment, but I have this very strong feeling that 2024 is going to be a big pop off for a lot of things in a very positive way. Okay? All right. Okay, masculines. They want me to get one card from the True Love deck, one from the Shaman Dream deck, and one from the Priestess of Light deck. So they have some higher messages to share for sure. I'm going to pick them all out of the gate and let's see what comes through. I've been really enjoying this. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we got self-respect. And what's coming through is that they want us to continue to hold our standards, honoring ourselves and coming from our own self-respect. It's helping. I can feel this. I can see where it's bridging and where it's strengthening in both the masculine and feminine collectives. Whereas the feminines are setting their standards and coming into that more aligned self-respect and self-protection in a positive way, it's actually allowing the masculines to open up in a safe way into their new energies. And they want to acknowledge the importance of this and to keep doing it, and that it's working from both ends for both collectives, okay? And straddling worlds between realms is kind of a deeper layer of that what I'm talking about in the overall collective energies of our internal masculine or external opening up into the higher realms, the intuitive, the higher connection, and the feminine opening up deeper into the earthly material world connections. This is happening in the collectives and on the planet, but it's happening internally for all of us in our own new ways. And so it's allowing a recalibration and an opening to, in this wandering between realms, is like there's a recalibration of learning how to use our higher abilities, letting those activate and open, learning how to wield them and then integrate them so that we are here and present in the physical world, but embodying our more higher essence and true core soul energy. Okay. And there was a higher self video a couple days ago, and I got guidance that we're going to be doing a series of those in the new year sometime as well. So learning to work with all of those parts of ourself. The masculines are even saying, like, for the feminines, call in the support of your divine masculine's higher self if that feels correct to you. Allow yourself to calibrate and work in the energies if it feels appropriate, if it feels aligned. Okay. I know some of you are probably already doing it, but they're acknowledging that there is a recalibration in the heart space that is becoming available. Okay. And this is deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences. So some of you may be beginning to remember other things from other lives, or you may have emotions coming up that aren't making a whole lot of sense for your current life. And it could be because, like I said, from the core wound, from past lives, and or from ancestral memories. So this is acknowledging the importance of allowing yourself the space and grace to let those things process, and knowing that you're here to help transmute it and to learn from it and to understand it, because you're learning about more and more of who you truly are. You're holding that space for your ancestry and for the collective, in that, in holding space for that, you're allowing a lot more to open up for everyone else. What I'm sensing is almost like the living libraries, like the Akash of the earth and of your lineage is in the process of opening up through this opening between the internal masculine and feminine and the external collectives. There is going to be a lot of original ancient energies returning. And as those open up, you may experience memories or emotions that are both exciting and some that are uncomfortable. If you're interested in more of that, number 3 of this series may be helpful for you. But I'm sensing that more of this may be coming up for the collective. So if it does, calling in your higher self energy to support you through that, finding the information and the knowledge that you need, and then also, if need be, allowing yourself to get the supports required to move through it or understand it better so that you can embody it in a new way. So overall, the masculines are acknowledging that we are all being called emotionally and spiritually to allow ourselves to expand into those new energies that we can embody into our physical form, more and more of who we actually are. So the masculines are mirroring this for all of us. Okay. This is the human evolution. This is the ascension process. We are learning to embody more of our true soul essence into physical form. It's not about leaving the planet and exiting. Maybe some people will choose that, but I think a majority of us are here to remember and re-engage who we actually are into physical form so that we can experience this beautiful planet in our own full beautiful forms. Okay. This is exciting. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm so grateful that I was guided to do this series and connect with so many of you beautiful people. And I'm looking forward to where we go from here. I hope you have a beautiful holiday season, however you celebrate, as we move into the new year. I will definitely be back soon. We're going to see what the what our higher selves co-create together next. But thank you so very much for being here with me, for your support, for your comments, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your thanks, your connecting with me in sessions. It all means a lot to me to be able to share this space with you. I love you so much and hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, loves. Thank you.